Hey guys, Majeffries here, and welcome to a brand new season of Football Manager 2014. If you want to be exact, this is episode 84 of You Don't Win Anything with Kids, but it's the first episode in season 2015-16, which, as you might remember from the last series, this will be our first season in the Football League. We won the Skrill Premier. We left it very, very late to win it. We did it on the last day, and only because Kidderminster lost their game. I can't remember if I showed you guys this in the playoffs. I think I mentioned this before. Kidderminster got to the final of the playoffs against Forest Green, and I believe Forest Green beat them. So it turned out to be a very bad couple of weeks for Kidderminster. But then you could say it's their own fault because they threw it away at the end. So I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. What I am going to lose sleep over is this. Now you'll see here, eagle-eyed viewers amongst you, Federic's work permit application. So Shane Federic's move to Majeffries United has been put on hold after his initial application for a work permit was turned down. You might be thinking, what? Now, I don't know if this is a glitch in the game, or I was just a bit not really paying attention. Federic's contract was due to run out at the end of the season. I already knew that, and what I was trying to do was extend it. So what I did was what you'd normally do on this game is I went into his name, I went into contract, I went off a new contract, agreed all the terms, everything was fine, and then I just left it. You know, I clicked all the buttons, made sure it was definitely going to go through, and then I just waited to see what would happen. And whilst this was going on, I offered new contracts to Bobo, Marshall, Wilson, Thompson, King. They all accepted. So I just thought, oh, it won't be long before Federic accepts. And it never quite happened. And then there was talk about him going to Hercules, or Hercules, however you say it. I believe they're either South American, like Mexico way. That's Central America. Never mind. Either in Mexico or in Spain. I can't remember exactly where. But they put in an offer for him as well. And he could have left, and he could have gone on a free transfer. Well, it wouldn't have been a free transfer because technically we offered him a contract either level or above his current terms. So compensation fee would have had to have been paid, but he never accepted that one either. So he didn't accept our contract, and he didn't accept their contract. And eventually, it got to the day after his deal was due to run out, and he was still listed as a player. And I gave it one last chance to for him to sign a new deal. And it came up on the news screen saying that he turned 17, he could be offered a professional deal. So I went through all that, gave him the contract, accepted it all again, everything seemed fine. The bar turned green, so I knew he was willing to sign. And then the next thing I knew, it came up saying that he'd left the club. So here he is. He's unattached. I've put I put in a bid for him. He actually agreed less terms than what he'd agreed for his contract extension, which is weird, but the point is he agreed. And then if I go back to the news thing, as you can see, the work permit application comes into it, which again confuses me because he was already at the club. Surely, I know this is a game and it doesn't follow the exact laws of the country, but surely if he's already at his place of work, he can get a permit to stay at that place of work. You know, I don't know the full ins and outs of the UK border agency, but to me that makes sense. But as you can see, it's on hold because we had to appeal the decision. On the flip side of that, we have some new signings who I'm going to introduce you to now as well. So, we have up here Sam Mantum, who signed for us from Rangers. There you go, for £700,000. Now, he's actually on quite a large contract. He's not my signing, he's Searcher's signing. Jonathan Searcher, who's our director of football, for those of you who don't know, he went and brought this guy in. I hadn't heard of him before, but I'm looking at his stats and I'm liking them. He's a good player for a championship side. He's going to be a leading championship central midfielder in the future. He's also listed as our joint best centre midfielder, which is good. That's fantastic. So he's a good signing. Welcome to the team, Mr. Mantum. As well as that, we have Lee Tomlin, who is also, he is a player I'm aware of. He currently plays for Peterborough. He's actually a free transfer because his Peterborough contract expired. I'm guessing he refused to sign a new one, or they just didn't offer him one. the usual ways that a contract would expire. He has very similar stats to Mr. Mantum, but he's more of an attacking midfielder and a left-sided midfielder. And you can actually see he is our best-rated attacking midfielder. He's even better than Bobo, which is slightly controversial in my opinion, because in my mind no one's better than Bobo, but according to this he is. He can also play up front, so he's another choice as a striker, and as I said, he can play out on the left. So he's like backup for Beckhold now, in that position anyway, and he might actually have this centre attacking midfield position nailed down as being his. See, good stats. He's 26, so he's not the youngest in the team, but he's certainly not the eldest either. So yeah, he's in the team now, and we've also got, here we go, Luke Rooney. You saw last season we signed John Rooney. He came from Dagenham and Redbridge, I believe. Luke Rooney, free transfer from Wimbledon. No, that's a lie. Free transfer from Tranmere. He was on loan at Wimbledon. He is definitely, fits into the backup option. You can see from his stats, he's not the best rated player in the team in any way, shape or form. He's one of our worst left midfielders. Not even on the list of attacking midfielders. Dare I even look at his striker rating? Oh dear. Might have been a mistake bringing him in, but he's in here anyway. Again, he's a free transfer. There was 3 free transfers. You've seen 2 of them, Tomlin and Rooney. The third one is here, Mr. George Saville, who is a free transfer from Chelsea. You can see the season that we first started, he played 7 games for Brentford, and I believe in real life he's the player who, I think on his debut, broke his leg for Brentford and had to go back to Chelsea. And if that is him, I'm gutted for him, because that's such a horrible, horrific thing to happen on anyone's debut, because I think it was also his professional debut. No, it wasn't. That's a lie, because he played 3 games for Millwall the season before. But even so, to have something like that on your debut when it could be a big break, your chance to prove that you deserve to be in any team, it must be a horrendous thing to happen. But he's now joined us, and you can see stats-wise, 4th rated midfielder in the team, defence midfielder in the team. What if I put that to centre midfielder? Yeah, he falls a bit down the list, but again, he's backup. It means we can loan some of our younger players out now, which is, that's fine by me. You can see he's a good player for League One sides, and he's going to be a Premier League defensive midfielder in the future. So in case we do change our formation, he fits in quite nicely in that role there. We haven't really got anyone else who can fill that role. So, I know he's 4th on the list, but McGregor, Delamond and McConnor. Maybe McConnor could fill that role as well, and he could be his deputy, but that's the way it works. And one more new signing down here, Jake Forster Kasky. I believe I looked at him in the last season. He is on loan from Brighton. I know for a fact that he becomes a really good player. I couldn't believe how young he was, actually. I thought he was a lot older than 21. Now. On this game, that is. Because in real life, I thought he was about 21. And this is 2 years on. So I thought he'd be about 23. However, I believe when I started this, he was 18. But I've signed him for teams in the past where he's been like 25 when he's joined. So I'm always used to players like him being older. I'm not used to to seeing his name and the age of 21 next to it. Like I said, he's joined on loan from Brighton for the season. He's got pretty good history. He scored a goal for Brighton there. He's actually Brighton's youngest appearance maker. You can see here, 2009-10, he came on as a sub. Made 1 appearance that season, but that's not the point, because he set the record. Let's see, he must have been about 15, 16, somewhere around then. So yeah, anyone else in the squad that I have forgotten to mention? I don't think so. We've released a couple of players, I believe. Someone left. Oh, Paul Gallagher's left. I released him. As you know, he scored 1 goal for us. He really didn't do well towards the end of the season. Bringing him on was almost like giving the game away, so I just let him go. I'm also trying to get rid of Ashton and Daly. Virtually all the players that I brought in at the back end of last season, because I think they were all mistakes, to be honest. I signed the wrong players. I hold my hands up and I admit that. Excuse me, got something stuck in my throat. Yeah, like I said, they're all mistakes. I want them all gone. I think they're all on the list to go. Maybe Schumacher was going to stay. No, he can go. I'll put them on seller release, even though they're worth money. No one wants Ashton. Can I just release him? Will he go? No. Okay, let's do it that way. Do it the hard way. John Daly, do I want to keep him? I suppose he's a good backup for centre-back, so I'll let him stay. And Robertson as well, I'll let him stay because he's a good left-back backup and centre-back, even though he's not got the best stats anymore. Jones is nearly always available, and if he's not, we've got Klopmus as well, who's currently injured but should be fine. And at push, we've got Worthington. It'd be a big push, but he's there anyway. So we're not complete doom and gloom when it comes to those positions. I suppose we can always improvise with other players, like we've got... Where is he? Cartwright's around here somewhere. Where is he? There he is, Jacob Cartwright. So yeah, he could play left back, and you see he's got amazing stats. And if we've got another centre back in the team, that's fine, it's a simple swap out. So everything's doing well there. Last thing I'll show you guys before I end this episode is pre-season has got underway. We have not had a great pre-season so far, and in fact we got one more pre-season game against Palace, and then our next match is at home to Tranmere live on TV, and it's the first game of the season. So pressure is on. I've tried to make my signings as early as possible so that the team's gelled by the time the big kickoff arrives. There might still be a couple of tweaks, let's say, that need making before the big kickoff, but for now I'm pretty happy with what I've got. You can see we lost 1-0 to Dynamo Moscow, we lost 1-0 to Pribram. We drew 3-3 with Ross County. Goals from Tomlin, Beckhold, and I believe the third one was an own goal, I'm not entirely sure. And you can see we got a friendly against Crystal Palace, and then we got the big kickoff against Tranmere. Now, see here it says Stamford Bridge. Remember last season we had our stadium was redeveloped, so we had to ground share with Spurs, which doesn't make sense at all. This season our ground is being redeveloped and we get to share with Chelsea. So again, not very realistic. I would still prefer to share with someone like Barnet or Stevenage, but they seem to think we're good enough to share with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So we're going to have massive attendances for the first few weeks of the season, and then it's all going to peter out again around about probably the Coventry game, maybe a bit later, where we move back into the Majeffries Arena. Yeah, guys, I think that pretty much finishes this episode. Trying to sign a new scout, we'll see what he can bring to the table. And you can see we've got Federic as well. I will keep you updated on what happens with Federic. Hopefully he's allowed to join again, because he wants to join again. I don't know why he left in the first place, so I assume it's just one big massive hiccup and it will get fixed. But yeah, that ends this episode, guys. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you have subscribed to my channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I will see you soon.